So, as you're all aware, I'm something of a specimen. Yes, really, I am, for all intents and purposes, a walking refutation of everything thought to be understood by modern science. I'm a genetic freak and I'm not normal, and naturally, as a result, I should be setting records all across the board. But I can't because, once again, the man is trying to keep me down by conveniently making every single record that I want to hold banned or discontinued. Yes, there are a lot of world records now that Guinness World Records will no longer record. They won't even turn up to your world record event like they do with all the other world records. And even if you do break the record, Guinness World Records will refuse to record it in their book. This is because these world records are now considered banned for a bunch of different reasons, like the danger posed to the participant, danger to bystanders, danger to the environment, or for various other ethical reasons. So, these are some of the world records that you, or more importantly, I, can't compete for anymore. Please leave a like and a comment on this video because it really helps me in the algorithm. The new year. An opportune moment to finally turn a new leaf and actually do something productive with your fleeting little life. Again. Tell me, Chud, have you got yourself a little New Year's resolution? Are you going to actually hit the gym this time for more than 2 weeks? Maybe you're going to finally ask your boss for that pay rise that you've been mulling over. Maybe, and just maybe, you're trying to lose that one bad habit. Need I even say his name? Of course I do, because he is my current dom. His name is Fume. That's right, my diligently dubious darlings, my beloved sweetheart Fume is back, and they're here to help you kickstart the new year. Who is Fume? You serious? I must fix this. Allow me to enlighten you. Fume is the premier in flavoured air devices that vows to help you with that one bad habit that's followed you into 2026. It helps you to return to your best self without any dodgy chemicals or blinking electronics that make my head hurt, my lips dry, my knees weak, and my palms sweaty. You see, Fume is refreshingly simple. A rock-hard and firm wooden frame with a plumed, smoochable head that's also inviting. Fume's sturdy form is worth admiring on craftsmanship alone, but let me just say, size isn't everything. Indeed, despite the deceptive simplicity, Fume has a wide catalogue of fruity and fancy flavours to fall in love with. From grapefruit to maple pepper, there is definitely a flavour for you. And let me say, it really helped out with my nasty habit of eating lipstick. The glittery ones taste the nicest, but it kept getting in my teeth. Now, I thought that I was fairly orange vanilla, but I was experimenting the other day to see which one would make me peach blush. And after sampling some crisp mint, I eventually found the one who really stole my cinnamon heart. Let me just say, once you go black licorice, you never go back. Though I'll admit the limited time gingerbread core has been quite the tantalising prospect. So grab that old vape and kick him into the history books because he's a fossil. If you want to join me and over 700,000 people on your own journey to better habits, you need only scan the QR code on the screen or go to tryfume.com and use code Dankula at any point in January to get your cores doubled and a free topper with your journey pack. Again, scan the QR code on the screen or go to tryfume.com and use code Dankula during this month of January to get your cores doubled and get a free topper with your journey pack. Thank you, Fume, and now back to the video. So, where do we even begin? Well, let me preface by recounting the blatantly obvious. What the hell even is the Guinness Book of World Records? Well, as my Irish researcher just won't shut the fuck up about, it comes from Ireland. Specifically, Wexford. This most likely means nothing to you as an audience member and presumably functioning adult. But for Africa Chan, it became a point of pride because he's from Wexford. So, all Wexford really has going for it is the Guinness Book of World Records and an autist obsessed with Africa. That's just sad. But because he won't shut the fuck up and just do his job like a normal adult, he wants me to say the following. Fuck townies, fuck tinkers, and fuck dubs. What separates man from beast is the Wicklow Mountains. And what separates men from supermen is the Slaney. South Side. I'm not sure what any of that meant, but it probably made sense to all of the bog munchers out there. But anyway, it was in the Slob, a rather funnily named and apparently quite serene wildfowl reserve out in the mudflats on the eastern outskirts of Wexford town, where in 1951, Sir Hugh Beaver, what a fucking name, the managing director of this rather niche and little-known local brewery called Guinness, was out with a bunch of his friends doing a spot of shooting. I know, who could have seen that coming? It's only in the fucking name. So, while Huge Beaver was out shooting on the Slob, a scandal occurred. When Beaver missed a shot on a golden plover, he got into an argument with one of his companions about whether or not a golden plover was actually the fastest fucking thing on the planet. Beaver's companion disagreed, claiming instead that the fastest bird was the mighty red grouse. And then he presumably told Beaver that he was just a bad shot, a shite sport, and that he should just take the L. Thankfully for us, he didn't. Eventually, the argument got to the point where they were desiring a fact check to manifest and settle the debate. But, as you may expect, there was none, because this was the 50s and there was no internet or, say, a giant book that tells you all about such things. That's when a light bulb moment occurred that led to the eventual creation of the Guinness Book of Superlatives, with Boyle Beaver linking up with some of his fact-finding university chums in London to record, codify, and distribute for free this book to every single pub in the British Isles. In the process, settling many a debate and consequently, possibly starting even more arguments. And wouldn't you know it, it caught on, with that dastardly little book being circulated all over the globe, eventually dropping the superlative title and replacing it with records and adding the world in, becoming the mighty tome that we all know and have in our house unopened somewhere because it's just like the #1 Christmas present for some reason. Yes, this video probably reminded all of you that you actually own a Guinness Book of World Records and it's been sitting in your toilet for 6 months underneath a 2008 edition of the National Geographic and a local newspaper that you swiped just to draw mustaches over, just in case. I see you for what you are and it disgusts me. Yet I entirely sympathise. So, how does Guinness World Records actually go about recording said records? Because, sadly for you, you can't just go and gun for the record without jumping through a few hoops first. Indeed, you need not only train and practice to break this exact record that you're gunning for, but you also need to submit an application to Guinness so that they can send some dork out to you so that they can officially witness and record the feat in person. Only then can your attempt at a record even be considered for recording. So, with that being said, name some records, fat boy. To which I say, first off, I'm not fat anymore, shut up, you're mean. Second off, funny you should mention that because our first record is held by one Angus Barbieri. So who's this fucking ham planet? Well, here's the thing, he was actually cursed from the moment he was born. Because Angus here is not only from fucking Dundee, good lord my sympathies, but he's also the son of Italian immigrants who owned a chippy. He never stood a fucking chance. God basically commanded him from birth to be a tubby fuck. The thing is though, old Angus wanted to flex that indomitable human spirit that I keep hearing so much about, and he decided to try and lose all of that weight. And thus, we get the current world record holder for longest water fast. Because the 27-year-old, who was a hefty heifer at 472 pounds, decided to go under medical supervision and just not eat for a while, nourishing himself off of nothing but water, black coffee, a multivitamin, and yeast extract for the amino acids. So, how long did he last? 382 days. Breaking the world record for the longest time a human being has gone without eating. He survived 382 days without eating a single thing, because Lord knows he had the blubber to survive for that long and still have some to spare. This understandably resulted in quite the hubbub in the news cycle due to the absolute absurdity of the length and scale. And yes, the refeeding was apparently an absolute nightmare. The man had become kind of institutionalized a little bit. Now, as I'm probably going to be saying quite a bit in this video, I don't think I need to explain why this particular feat is not being recorded by Guinness anymore. Guinness just doesn't want anyone to try and attempt this one again because there is an extremely high risk of someone dying. In this same vein, this also applies to the feat of one Austrian fellow named Andreas Mihavex, who holds the world record for the longest time of fasting without food or water. Unlike most other world record holders, this feat was not planned or intended due to the fact that Andreas had a frankly horrifying experience that he actually just should not have survived. For context, the then 18-year-old Andreas was arrested and put into custody for being involved in a car crash. Upon being deposited into his holding cell, which was in the literal basement of a local government building in Hochst near the town of Bregenz in Austria, he was just left there. Yeah, the policeman who booked him and put him in there literally just forgot he was there. He ended up spending the next 18 days in the fucking basement without food or water, only barely clinging to life by apparently, and I shit you not, licking the condensed droplets of water that would gradually form along the walls of his cell. Andreas was eventually found by another police officer who was in the building just by complete chance. And he was only alerted to the presence of young Andreas because of the utterly foul stench emanating from the cell. Andreas was let out and instantly rushed to hospital, and he only just barely survived. Once Andreas was better, he understandably sued the ever-loving shit out of the police who had left him in there. He ended up getting a whopping payout of 4,000 Austrian shillings, or in contemporary Yank money, about $1,100. $1,100 for being put through absolute hell and being starved and dehydrated for 18 whole fucking days, nearly killing him, and they gave him $1,100. Now, before you rightfully guffaw at the sheer absurdity of that, you can rest easy. Because Andreas eventually got himself a payout from the civil court, equaling to a paltry 250,000 Austrian shillings, or around $62,000, as well as a spot in the Guinness Book of World Records. So, I guess that's a win. But hey, enough about starvation. What about the opposite? Utter gluttony. Yes, we are talking about the largest meal eaten in a single sitting. And that is unofficially held by professional eater Big Bob Shout. But I say unofficially because, as you may have gathered from the title, this record is also no bueno. Because some poor woman in Liverpool fucking died from actually attempting this record in the 80s. She ended up eating so much food that her belly button popped out like she was 9 months pregnant. She was then rushed to hospital where she actually ended up dying after multiple attempts at surgically removing all of the food. She had eaten around 19 pounds of solid food matter, or in real weight about 8.6 kilograms. I say real weight because if you don't record your lifts in kilos, you're a monkey who just wants to make your numbers bigger than they actually are. Either way, it seems like mukbangers have their work cut out for them. So that's food off the table entirely. So what's next? Balloons. With the world record of highest number of balloons being released all at once. This record is actually held by the city of Cleveland, Ohio. And the record is now completely banned. And if you want to find out why, well, we actually have an entire video on this exact subject. But the TLDR is all of these millions of falling balloons kind of caused a little bit of chaos all over the city. So, what about music? Well, you better not be into all of that yodeling stuff because I've got bad news for you. That's right, sorry fellas, but you know what I'm about to say next. The record for fastest yodel is no longer up for grabs. I know, my heart's completely broken. But this record is banned for kind of different reasons. Apparently, yodeling is too subjective a method of vocalization to be accurately measured in a competitive setting. Basically, they didn't actually know what metric to measure it with to say which yodel was the fastest. The current record holder is one Thomas Shaw, who apparently managed to hit 22 different tones, 15 of which were falsetto, within the space of a single second. But unfortunately, this record is not recognised by Guinness. I couldn't find a video of him breaking the record, but take a single glance at this lad's work, and well, I wouldn't be shocked if it was true. Now, by this point, you're probably really starting to get peeved and stressed out because you're quickly realising that all the records that you've been gunning for have been put to rest. And I don't blame you. So why don't you get in your car, put the heating on, listen to your Sumatran jungle ambience a little bit too loudly, and have a smoke and just decompress for a bit. You know, like that Ryan Gosling fellow in that one film. Burn rubber and all that. Well, actually, maybe not burn rubber. Because yes, that is also banned, with the records for largest car tyre burnout image and motorcycle tyre burnout image being shelved, due to the talking heads at GWR being moralising Melvins, saying that, quote, records that encourage destruction for the sake of destruction when harmful for the environment will no longer be entertained. Well, do you know what, Mr. Unnamed GWR spokesperson? Fucking... yeah, that's right. That's right. What are you going to fucking do about it, Doc? Are you also going to lay my record for Most Mothers Pumped to rest as well, just like you did for all the other ones? Yeah, I didn't think so. You actually couldn't anyways, even if you tried. After all, it'd be a conflict of interest, wouldn't it? And it doesn't stop there with this defilement of motorheads, because alongside having tyre burnouts be shelved, they've also decided to stop recording anything to do with going fast. including, most notably for me, the fastest journey around the world, being held by some Indians who I don't care enough about to name, because it's apparently going to encourage speeding. What? No way! You're telling me that going fast in a car could be speeding? Whoa, that's crazy! Jamie, pull up Chinese car accident TikToks. I'm honestly sick of these fucking paddies taking all my hopes, dreams and ambitions and crushing them because they want to be just massive fucking nerds about it. I can't be in attendance for the largest audience at a camel wrestling event or collect myself the most voluptuous of chonkers because they suddenly grew a fucking conscience because something animal abuse. Which is completely reasonable, save for the fact that this entire fucking organisation was founded over which innocent bird could better evade being fucking shot at. Remember, this entire thing was literally created by a gaggle of Elmer McFuds. But now, oh no, you see the morbidly obese tabby cat? You can't have that anymore, and no, you cannot give him any more spray cheese, because that's not very Keanu Chungus 100 of you now. Sorry, Redditor, you're going to have to get your updates on Reddit Silver to own the chuds and save the world somewhere else. To be fair, the Fat Animals records should be banned, because that was just making people massively overfeed their pets on purpose, which is animal abuse, so okay, fair. Now, you might start wondering if I'm just being unreasonable. No, I'm fucking not, actually, because these fucking Googa Guppy Goy toys at Guinness have even went as far as to stop recording the most difficult tongue twister for undisclosed reasons. They won't even explain why they're not recording that one anymore. Stunting the venerable and well-respected tongue twister community forever. Which, by the way, I consider myself a proud member of. Naturally, I must now try and read the most difficult tongue twister that they recorded before they enacted this. The 6 sick shakes, sheep's sick, the 6 sick shakes, 6 sheep sick, the 6 sheep. Moving on, now don't go thinking that it's just me who is affected by Guinness being a bunch of randos. Because even the aforementioned music industry has been dealt a heavy blow by their autistic busybodying. Most guitars smashed on a single tour is no longer recorded because, I shit you not, due to guitar welfare. Yes, really, they care for the welfare of fucking Fenders, Stratocasts and obnoxious metal surfboards, but not the welfare of, me. And it doesn't stop there. Sure, they just shot the busker, but they're also going to take his pennies as well. Because the largest penny pyramid is, of course, also off the table. Because it apparently requires such a large amount of coins to beat the record with 104,000 coins in the structure that, I shit you not, it might actually cause a strain on the US Mint if people start trying to one-up it. I mean, sure, there is that one mad fucking Arizona who gunned for it anyway, making a pyramid of over 1,030,315 pennies. But I don't know if Guinness World Records actually accepted it. I know, the indomitable human spirit once more revealing itself by just fucking doing it anyway and not giving a shit about some gay book validating or glazing. Truly inspiring. It makes me want to swoon into some cute honey's arms and give her a big old smooch. And yes, that is another segue because longest kiss is also no longer recorded. Because apparently, touching tongues with a bow for far too long might impact your health. Indeed, the Guinness Book of World Records are so comically evil that they genuinely think the Universal Declaration of Intimacy and Love is detrimental to your physical well-being. I mean, yeah, sure, the current world record holder is a Thai couple who maintained a kiss without sleeping, eating, or shitting for 58 hours straight. So, I could maybe give that some leeway. Though maybe Guinness do have a point when they say that women are bad for your health. I'm going to leave you with this one. The most utterly reprehensible example that I'm aware of. The most poetically fucked up and evil discontinuation that will forever haunt my mind due to just the sheer irony of it. The Guinness Book of World Records has discontinued most beer drunk in an hour. I'm being completely serious. The Record Association, owned by a literal fucking brewery, does not record the most beer drunk in an hour. You couldn't make it up. Actually, do you know what else you couldn't make up? Who currently holds the record? It is none other than one Jack Keys, a 23-year-old from a place that I've been informed to call Belfast Derry, so that I equally piss off both sides. Indeed, the record is held by a Mick who managed to square away 36 pints of what I can reasonably assume was Guinness in 1969. All of this is to say that when it comes to the sly schemes of the perfidious Paddy, they will always end up on top. I keep Africa Chan under very, very close watch for a very good reason. And that more importantly, I will be gunning for one of these records. But I'm not going to tell you which one.
It's Count Dankula on YouTube! Everybody should subscribe!
Scan the QR code on the screen or go to tryfume.com and use code Dankula during this month of January to get your cores doubled and get a free topper with your journey pack.